Right, so you're thinking of potentially buying a property, or you've decided to buy a property this year, next year in Spain. Well, congratulations, because you have made a super decision. However, there are 5 critical things you need to know before you even get started in order for your property journey to be as smooth as possible, but most importantly, to avoid losing money and big headaches. Let's talk about it. Right, so let's start with number 1. And by the way, this is our top 5. There are numerous other things that, we can't just pack into one video. So we chose the 5 most fiery and 5 most important topics. And number 1 is over-reliance on portals. This is something that's very, very common and something we see with our buyers at High Homes, where people overly rely on portals such as, in the case of Spain, Idealista, Fotocasa, Pisos.com. And while these portals are great in some cases, they can also become a nightmare because a lot of listings are either sold, a lot of listings are very old and don't really show the reality of a certain market. You'll find agencies that keep their sold listings on there as a lead magnet or a lead hook, which just leads to disappointment when you inquire and that property is not really available. And in some extreme cases, even some fake listings. And this is very popular on international portals, for example, Rightmove Overseas and so on, where more than having a fake property, what they have is they'll typically put a development photo and the price will be the starting price for a 1-bed, and they'll show you the photos of a penthouse. Super frustrating for buyers. So over-reliance of portals is one thing that you need to watch out for, and the way you overcome it is by having a good connection to local specialists. And this brings me on to my point number 2, which is a really important one to keep in mind, is work with one agent, 1 or 2, but I actually would recommend 1. The reason I say this is that the way it works in Spain is very different to other parts of Europe. You typically have in Spain or in Malaga, where we are, buyer agents and seller agents. There are some agencies which are specialized in helping the vendors and some agencies that are specialized in helping buyers. So approach a buyer agent and tell them what you're looking for, and make sure that, before you even get started with that agent, that you have a full-on interview to understand if he's the right agent for you, understand what he's used to selling, what kind of buyers he helps, what kind of product he sells, what kind of areas he specializes in, and give that one person all your nice to haves, your must haves, your roadmap, your timeline, your finances. Give him a breakdown of what exactly you want to achieve and work with one person. It's gonna be a lot easier for you to navigate this real estate market with someone that you actually know that knows the area, but also someone that you get along with. And that's an important one. You're gonna spend a lot of time with your agent in the property hunting stage. So make sure it's someone that you'd actually wouldn't mind spending 3, 4, 5 hours in the car with for 1 week straight, because that's exactly what property hunting is all about. And just to finish on the agency side, always make sure to know who you're working with. So apart from the interview, it's always important to check them online, check their reviews, and check if they're part of any association, for example, the LPA, HIPE, and others. That takes me on to 3. Get pre-approved. Getting pre-approval for mortgage is something that buyers don't really, in some cases, see the importance of until it's too late. And there's nothing more frustrating than coming to market, in the case you're buying a resale property, for example, finding that perfect property that ticks all the boxes, and all of a sudden, once you pay that reservation, the bank, surprise, does not give you the percentage you expected you were going to get. Or, for example, the bank does not believe you have the repayment capabilities. It's super easy to speak to a lender or mortgage broker or any high street bank and have a conversation with them before you come to market and explain to them what your down payment capabilities are and what your repayment capabilities are. Don't just assume because your income is good in your home country, you're going to get a mortgage. That's not always the case. Banks look at repayment capabilities and down payment capabilities very differently to maybe how it works in your home country. Just have the conversation for them to understand where your expectations are, what you're trying to achieve, and get them to pre-approve you. It's a 2-week or 1-week process, and it will save you a lot of headaches. This is a super tip. This takes me to number 4, which is understand the costs and also understand the process. So this is a new country for you. This is a new system. So you need to understand how a property transaction works. The best way of doing that is to work with a reputable law firm that can help you with the process. The same sort of process that you did earlier with the agent is the same thing you should do with just a law firm, a lawyer that can explain to you how a property transaction works in case of a resale property or a new construction, but also for them to understand, or to explain to you rather, what the purchase costs are. Purchase costs vary in, region to region in Spain. So it's not the same to buy a property in Malaga than it is to buy a property in Las Islas Baleares, Albacete, Madrid. So understand what the purchase costs are, the taxes and everything involved. In Malaga, for example, they range from 9% up to 13.2%. And there's nothing more frustrating than thinking that you have your budget of 500,000 euros, come into market, and you get surprised, whacked by costs that you didn't expect. And all of a sudden, you are not able to complete on a property because you don't have the financial capability. If your budget is 500,000 and the purchase costs are, let's say, 10%, your budget is actually 450, not 500. It sounds simple, but it's really important to know. That takes me on to number 5, and this is budgeting. So budget for everything and make sure you have a good buffer. It's typical in resale properties when you walk in that you're going to find problems with AC, with underfloor heating, with appliances. Buffer, 1% for unexpected costs. And for example, sometimes when you buy properties, the vendors will take some furniture with them. Also buffer that you need to buy furniture and all these things that you don't tend to think about. So, sort of factor that into your global budget. Again, if you keep in mind the purchase costs, which were 10%, it might be that your budget buffering for unexpected costs, your budget can be radically affected. So let's just run through the numbers. Imagine your global budget's 500,000. We now have 10% purchase cost, which means that your budget's 450 plus costs approximately. And if you buffer, let's say 5 grand for unexpected costs, actually your budget's now 445 or 440. So it's important to factor this in before you come to market. Just sort of forecast or foresee for unexpected costs and buffer for them ahead of time rather than coming across them later and sort of feeling that you should have buffered for them earlier on. And that's really the top 5 things. And I'll just add a 6th pro tip for you guys is manage your expectations. So this is something we talk about a lot in the office. If you come to market and you're expecting that perfect golden egg of a property just be waiting there for you, that's not going to happen. Like, working and finding a property is a lot of work, and you need to put that time and the effort that the whole process deserves in order to find that perfect golden eggs. They're out there, but you need to put the work in it. It can be a walk in the park, but a lot of the time buying property in Spain is work. So keep that in mind, and I think that's a wrap to the top 5 things we believe you guys need to keep in mind in order to buy a property in Spain. And like always, I would love to hear what you have to say. If there's things that you think that I should have included in this video, feel free to comment those below. I'd love to hear your experiences wherever you are in the world. And just to finish off, if you found this video useful, please press that button, like this High Homes video, and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you guys posted with information and videos just like these. And press that bell button if you'd like to be notified when videos like these come out. And we would love video suggestions. We listen to all of them. Any suggestion you have for us to film or topic you'd like us to cover, comment those below as well. So, like always, guys, in property and in real estate, knowledge is your best investment. Until the next time, hasta luego.